Дверь была не заперта.
Hey guys, this is Anne-Marie Master back for another What If. This is gonna be What If. This is gonna be another part to the What If Deku was like Asta. So when we last left off, Deku had just finished the entrance exam and he hadn't got his scores yet. So when he gets the scores and he finds out that he's in first place, because he had a lot high number of rescue and alright number of villain points, and now then he tells his mom with a happy but tears running down his face, um, saying that I go into UA. She's so happy, and she starts to work on Deku's hero suit. Now let's continue the story. Deku basically, when Deku walks into the class and he notices Ida shouting at Bakugo, he doesn't get nervous. Rather, he's happy that that Ida isn't acting off or isn't acting weird, since he noticed that he's pretty uptight before that. He didn't have a bad outcome because of that, because of what happened in the exam. So basically, either got trapped under the rubble as well before he could escape. Then Bakugo basically sees Deku and does his usual move and looks away and start looking out the window and just ignoring everyone. At this time, Uraraka comes out behind Deku and says, "I know the messy hair. It must be Deku." She then basically in this scenario, in this universe, basically Izuku doesn't mind being called Deku, because he doesn't really care what people call him currently. And since he beat up Bakugo at one point, uh, Bakugo has more respect for Deku as well. That's why he just doesn't say anything and looked uh, more looked impressed by Deku and stuff like that. Since Deku came first and he was second, and then soon as Ida came up to Deku and says, "Thank you for saving me," and Deku just says it's no problem, and then they notice Eraserhead standing up in his bag, sleeping bag, and and then he says, "It took you 20 seconds to even notice that I was here. Much has to change." And then says that, "Get into your gym uniform, and the we're going to test your current abilities basically, and says that uh, whoever comes last will be removed from the school. This time around, Deku is not nervous at all, since he's trained for like since he was 7 for his power, and a lot of people he knows that he will win. Since Deku came first, um, he was asked to throw the ball first to show like different strengths and stuff. Deku is asked to use his full power, but he de- deciding that he might as well use his full power. He uses about 15%, which is the max he can use in one limb at a time. He uses 15% in his right arm and throws the ball, which goes about 1200 meters, 12 to 1300 meters, um, and then Aizawa explains everything else, and uh, at that point, um, and the tests begin, and Bakugo throws, and he gets, since he's also been training and perfecting his quirk, getting used to it and getting used to using it a lot more. His quirk has a lot more power, and because of that, he uses his by using the full power of his quirk, he gets about 1000 meters, no, 1100 to 1200 meters to the max when he's using the full powers of his quirk. Obviously, without the nitroglycerin gloves and stuff. And everything goes the same except Deku comes out like first place in the tests, and no one is kicked out, obviously, because everyone actually did good in something or another thing, and Aizawa doesn't see that anyone needs to be kicked out. Then Deku, then after a few days, All Might comes in and tells them that he we're going to do hero training this afternoon and stuff like that. They go, and all the teams are the same. It's the hero and villain exercise basically. Um, all the teams are the same. Everything goes the same until except the fight between Deku and Bakugo. And this time around, Deku actually uses somewhat like 2 to 3% of one for all to um, fight Bakugo instead of just running away. He fights back a little bit and dodging his blows and stuff. He ends up defeating Bakugo by wrapping the tape around him, and then they focus on Ida and um, working together, working together and they Uraraka and Bak sorry about that. Uraraka and Deku both Uraraka going from the right as a distraction, and Deku just sprinting right past Ida and getting the weapon. And this time around, Ida is not the best person that was in the job, but it was Deku, since he actually did something without. He worked to his advantage, and he actually defeated the villain that would be like the most threat, and then go to the weapon without endangering it blowing up and stuff like that. Then everything else goes the same, obviously, but Bakugo is not in that bad of a state like in canon, since this is like second or third time Deku has beaten him, so he's not surprised, but he knows that Deku is strong, but he didn't know that he was that strong. So he knows that he has to work harder and stuff like that. Now we get into the USJ arc. They walk in. And there's a villain standing in front of them. Sorry, I had to go do some. I had to pause the video. I'm in the recording. So there's a portal that open in the middle of the area, and there's villain coming out of a lot of villain come out, and Aizawa just jumps in like in canon, and soon as Aizawa goes, there's a villain comes in front of the students, and 13 tells Ida to go and inform the other teachers that there's a villain attack and stuff like that. And Kurogiri basically splits everyone like in canon. So Deku's in the water and stuff like that. When they get out, Deku, instead of just flicking his finger, he basically punches the water at 15%, not getting injury obviously, and knocking all the villains out in there. Then proceeding to get out of the water and wanting to help Aizawa. Since this happened a lot quicker, Aizawa is not injured, so Deku asks him, am I allowed to attack these villains? Aizawa says yeah. So Deku basically jumps in, takes down about 3 or 4, and then he notices that Aizawa has been taken down by a giant bird. giant man with a bird face and his brain hanging out. And there's a kid or some there's a person next to him who has hands all over his body, and he's commanding that bird creature. And he then Deku notices that Aizawa he touched Aizawa's arm is starting to decay or something. Deku getting angry and for the first time using 20% all of his body, he punches towards that man with the hands, but the Nomu, the creature called Nomu, jumps in the way and stops him. At that point, Deku jumps back where Aizawa was and takes him and picks him up and takes him back. Then at the time at, at this time All Might arrived, and All Might uh, goes up against the normal, and they duke it out like in canon. All Might is not as weak as in canon since he never needed to exert himself that much since he was just training Deku most of the time. Um, so basically helping him train his body more, and he had a couple of other people come along and help him out, like some couple of local gym teachers and stuff, and some local heroes like strong arm, I think it was, to train his body and learn martial arts and stuff. Basically, he handed the training off to other people and rested himself, just looked over it and helped him manage manage his diet and build up muscle quicker. After basically All Might defeats the normal the same way he did in canon by overwhelming him with raw power. Um, and because of that, because All Might not being as weak as he was in canon, he doesn't lose much time and is not that weak, so the normal is defeated a lot quicker. And before the villains can basically Kurogiri instantly, soon as the normal was defeated, without having to, without getting the order from so basically before getting the order from Shigaraki, uh, he just teleports Shigaraki instantly back to base, noticing that All Might did not get weaker at all, pretty much, and they both run away, leaving every single one of the other villains behind. And at that point, all the other teachers arrive and all the villains are captured. And rest happens the same, and All Might is not as exhausted like in canon, so he wasn't steaming or he wasn't even losing the shape of his heroic body. So this is gonna be the end of this part of the what if. Let me know if you liked or you want me to change a couple of things. Um, I know I was sorry about the story a lot in this episode. I was really tired and I had to go a couple of times to do some and sorry about that. Leave a like if you liked anyway and share if to anyone who might like this what if. Leave a comment if you want me to do anything or change any part of the what if, or if you want me to do another what if in the future. Alright, thank you guys for listening and thank you for your time today. See ya.